Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Chris Bishop. For show updates, you can follow us on Twitter. Our handle is EntrePEdge. Plus, you can email us on entrep@abn360.com. So still in the studio with me, I have Rajen Reddy, the founder and CEO of KZN Oils. So you'd had quite a sort of varied career, shall we say.
Yes.
You'd been in the building trade.
Yes.
You'd run a petrol station.
Yes.
You've run the stationery business for a
Yes.
couple of years. And finally,
Yes.
what you always wanted,
Yes.
you got into the oil business with KZN Oils. Now,
Yes.
how small did you start out?
I don't think they came any smaller than me. That is how small it was. But, eventually managed to sort the customer out. Normally, people find a supplier first. But, being me, I found the customer first. And then I had to find the supplier. So I go back to Shell and I say to them, I've got this opportunity. I'd like you to support me. And of course, we didn't have any offices those days. So we managed to convince the port that we need to borrow their boardroom. And made good friends with the lady that gave the tea and made her prepare the tea. So we had their biscuits, their boardroom, everything there. And we managed to meet with the CEO of Shell.
Really?
Yes.
So they thought it was your boardroom and your biscuits?
Well, they thought I was really connected. No, well, of course, I couldn't fool them about the boardroom. But it just made such an impression. Such an impression,
Well, wasn't it Sun Tzu said all warfare is deception, isn't that right?
Absolutely. And it depends how you package it. Yes, it depends how you package it. So I think that was it. Now, Shell, I convinced, I must tell you, I maybe did a good job on that one. Got it all sorted out, got the first inquiry, sent it to Shell, and got kicked out immediately. You are not allowed to tender a quote for that business. That is our business. So before this marriage started, divorce was on there. Over and done with. But one thing nice came out of that. The gentleman that was looking after me, Rob Dial, and he said, you know what, I don't know half the times what you say about this BEE and whatever you, but it sounds good. So he referred me to Total okay. SA. And I go to Total. I got to tell you this quickly. And yeah, I am going for this interview. So I got the main gentleman of Total, and his sales manager, Segrin Govender, was sitting there. So I gave him the spiel about what BEE was going to do for the oil industry and how important and how beneficial it will be for Total for them to get onto this partnership. So cut that long story short, the gentleman wakes up, and where Total was, their office, they could see the port. So he says to me, are you finished? I said, yes, sir, I'm finished. He says, Segrin, have you got anything to say? He said, no, I'm finished. He said, he gets up from his desk. He walks to the window, he looks at the port. He says, you are telling me with your black file, you're going to come here. I must support you. You've never sold a liter of oil in your life, okay? We are Total, looking at this port for the last 22 years, and everyone could not sell, and you are telling me that you're going to sell oil to that port. Are you really serious? Now he starts to read the riot act to me. Now I'm already down because I'm starting off. So I suppose ego in every man is, And then I said, sir, I really don't know who you know, but you don't know who I know. Now, do you want to supply me or not? So the secretary grabs me with them and says, no, it's fine, we'll come back to you. Yes. And that was it. And I get a call, I need to go to Joburg. Of course, those days we didn't know much about flying. So you'll put on a suit, I mean, for one that you didn't wear for quite some time. So it's a bit tight, So you're sitting in this plane, and now you don't know because I'm not the smallest of people, neither am I a big guy, but there's something about people that allocate you seats on a plane. They'll put the three biggest guys all together, so you are like this, and you get to Joburg now. You can't take a taxi, you can't get a car hire because we didn't have credit card those days. So get a taxi, get up here, and then I get a meeting with Total head office. And the gentleman just calls me across, and he tells me, tell me the story that you said in Durban. And years later, I didn't know they were making a fool out of me. It's because I was telling them about BEE. But that was the
and you got in eventually.
I got it eventually. And on the 2nd of January, this happened in 97, in November kind of thing. On the 2nd of January, I get a call, a friend of mine, or not a friend, a buyer from the port, says, "Where are you? Go to the fax machine." And so I said, "Jonathan, you know that I've only got one desk, and you know that the fax machine is on the desk, so I'll wait for the fax." And I see this coming out. In those days, we had the thermal fax, the one with the roll, not this A4 kind of thing. And I seen this fax, the paper started to come down onto the desk, past the desk, onto the floor. And I thought, look at these idiots sending me the same fax over and over again. So I tear this thing up and I look at it. I phone Segren and I say, "Segren, we got our first deal." and that was about it was about 21,000 Rand. The first order. He comes across, he says, "Excellent." And I saw him walking, I had a warehouse that didn't have any product, so it was empty. And this guy just walks there. He comes back, he says, "We can't give you this price, but, I'll supply it to you for cash." I said, "Segren, there's a slight problem. I haven't got the full amount." So he throws up his hands and he was a bit annoyed. He said, "Okay, make me a PDC checkout." But I said, "I'll try and borrow the money and I'll pay you with that." So
that's how it was. But
That's
it must have been tough after that euphoria of the first deal, because
Yes.
as you said yourself, I think it's a bit of an old boys club, this
Yes.
oil thing.
Yes.
How tough is it to break in even once you've got your first deal?
I just want to tell you quickly how I sold diesel. Now, in 98, selling oil, of course, they put the toughest targets for you. We exceeded, they gave me a 40,000 litre target. I sold 222,000 litres, so I was a little bit of a hero. But my present supplier, Caltex, which is now Chevron, didn't want to supply 4 drums of diesel. In November 98, I washed the 4 drums, decreased them, fill the diesel, and go and sell it to the port. Next month in December, I get a 10,000 litre order. Can you imagine, from 4 drums, 10,000 litres, and I thought we were made, compared to the millions we sell. But like to answer your question, in the oil industry, we actually know it all. It's a old boys club, like you said. It is, if you don't break in there, or if you don't have, any kind of entry point, you're going to have it tough. You're going to have it very tough.
I mean, just give us a picture of how difficult it is to break into the oil selling business.
Without jeopardizing my future growth. So I need to be careful of what I say.
Well, no names then, eh?
But the oil industry is very rigid. It's in fact too rigid. But let us commend our government and the Department of Energy now with the policies that they're putting in place. The oil industry is not, there's no red carpet for us. And it's tough to get in there, because it's a lot of money, to extend credit. So there is barriers to entry. So I can assure you, if it wasn't through the government and giving us the kind of volumes, and it would have been even more difficult to actually get into the oil industry. We are in the commercial and industrial side, everything that's not a service station. And then you've got retail now. We've managed to patch up our relationship with Chevron.
So it's so it is very difficult to say, but also, I mean, there's talk at the moment on the wires now saying that the world oil price is fixed around the world. I mean, you're in the business.
Yes.
How do you see this?
It's always been fixed from the day it was there.
So I wonder why I made the papers then.
So it is something, as you saw. I think you saw BP had a nasty spill in the Gulf. So it comes out of the ground. It's a product that's ready made. Nobody manufactures crude, So it's there. It's just an emotional price that we put to logistics. And of course, someone will sneeze like we say, and then the price will go up. And then if they cough, it goes even worse. And then if someone gets pneumonia, and then it goes through the roof, So it is just about manipulating the prices and things like that. And if there's a war, it's even worse. And if it's an oil-producing nation, it's even, it gets even much tougher. So I'm hoping that, common sense will prevail in the near future, that we actually put a price. If there's a price for logistics, let's get down to do it and actually come to that, because it is ridiculous, if I could say that. Absolutely ridiculous.
So you think it's way overpriced then?
It's way overpriced.
Really? I mean,
absolutely.
How much cheaper do you think it could be?
Now I'll get really into trouble. I can see where you're leading me to. But let's put it this way. It's absolutely ridiculous. It comes out free, like I said to you, from the ground. It's just your cost of logistics and other things that follow. And we don't have to really go this way, because it's a key and a strategic product to a country's economy. And when you start off with a base that ridiculous, everything follows. And it just has that domino effect, yes.
Well, from those small beginnings and 4 empty barrels, now you're turning over something like R1.5 billion, which is about, $200 million plus in my calculations. So where's the company going now? I mean, where are you looking to expand?
Yes, we've managed to convince Chevron through the Caltex blend plant to manufacture lubricants for us. So we've got our own brand of lubricants called KZN oils, and we still do the Caltex brand, there. So we want to franchise the lube distributorships and give other emerging companies that opportunity we had to buy and sell, because we've got our manufacturing in order. And our C&I business, our commercial industrial business, government is really making all efforts to give us opportunities there. We've just got 29 service stations now on the retail side with Caltex. So we've got the KZN North, that. We've got our own logistics now. We've got 22 road tankers. We've got a barge in the marine side,
So big plans for the future. Just finally, very briefly,
yes.
Your hero, your entrepreneur? Hero?
That's a bit of
it's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one, because there's certain qualities and properties, in lots of people, and I must say I had the great opportunity of meeting a lot of them.
Okay, well, maybe for another show then, but thank you very much, Rajen Reddy, the CEO and founder of KZN Oils, for your wonderful stories and your insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week. Be sure to tune in again next week for another episode of the Entrepreneurial Edge. Until then, from me, Chris Bishop, it's goodbye.